In this video, we are going to go over how to set up a registered user with MARCo. It is recommended that if you are a caregiver designating a MARCo to a new user, you should be present during the setup and first session. Step 1. Registering a new user. First, ensure MARCo is powered on and connected to Wi-Fi. Tap the big green button in the middle of the screen to initialize MARCo. You will be prompted to fill in the form on the screen. Since this is your first time, tap the I'm new button. MARCo will give a brief introduction and open a new screen, where you will be prompted to fill in more information. Once you are done, you can hit the big orange I'm done button. If everything is correct, MARCo will log you into the main screen, otherwise you will be told if something is missing or incorrect. A user's emergency contacts will also receive text message notifications once a user is registered. Step 2. Changing settings. After registering a user, you can change settings on the user level. Click the right arrow on the main screen and find the settings icon and tap it to open the settings page. You may want to switch to headphone audio by tapping Switch Audio Output. You may also want to change MARCo's default voice. Tap on the setting Change MARCo's voice to open a window with voice selections. You can scroll up and down to see more options. To listen to each voice, tap the Listen button. To change MARCo's voice, tap the green Select button for the desired voice. MARCo will remember what voice to use during your session without affecting other users. Step 3. Learning how to use MARCo. Now let's learn how to talk with MARCo. For this, we have a few options. There is a button in MARCo's left hand that will allow you to speak with the robot. So long as you hold down the button, MARCo will listen, and when you are done speaking, let go of the button. Wait a second before letting go to make sure MARCo hears everything. MARCo's eyes will go green so long as it is listening to you, and will turn blue when MARCo starts speaking in response. MARCo's eyes will go back to their regular rainbow colors when MARCo is done speaking. If you do not want to speak, you can also use the screen and your keyboard. Tapping the pen icon on the bottom of the main screen will allow you to type to MARCo. Press Enter when you are finished with a message and MARCo will reply. The other icons on the screen can be used to start certain activities. For instance, the big green icon requests a meditation, the big purple icon starts a talk support session, and the yellow party icon is for cheer up activities. These will be discussed in more detail in a later video. Additionally, you may find that when MARCo gives you options to choose from, you may have a hard time remembering them all if they are listed too fast. To help with this, there is a quick reply icon that allows you to respond with a single tap rather than typing or speaking. The blue Pro Tips icon can also help give you insight or further suggestions based on what MARCo just said. Step 4. Start talking with MARCo. For this video, we will cover a brief overview of MARCo's features. A more detailed explanation and suggestions of how to run through a session with MARCo will be covered in the next video. When talking with MARCo, you have hundreds of options to choose from. As you get more comfortable, you can ask specifically for the things you want to do. When you are just getting started, it is recommended you start each session in one of the following ways. 1. Tell MARCo about your day. If you say, "Can I tell you about my day?" or "I want to journal," MARCo will pull up a new window where you can talk for as long as you'd like about what's going on in your day, your life, or just anything on your mind at all. MARCo will listen to you, understand how you are feeling, and give you suggestions based on what you are feeling. 2. Say how you are feeling. Just a quick "I'm sad" or "I'm stressed" will allow MARCo to better help you out. 3. Try telling MARCo about some event that's bothering you. "I'm so sorry to hear you are stressed over your interview." If you are unsure of what to do, you can always ask for a suggestion or a random activity. Here are some suggestions of common things to say to MARCo. Remember, no matter what is on your mind, you can always say it to MARCo. Also, be sure to ask MARCo about its own personality, like how its day was, or what its favorite animal is. Step 5. Logging out and shutting down. When you are done working with MARCo, whether for a session or the day, be sure to say "Goodbye MARCo" to log out. MARCo will prompt you to rate how you felt before and after your session together, and usually has one more thing to say afterwards. After you have said your goodbyes, MARCo will return to the start screen, and the robot's face will power off. From here, you can either leave MARCo on and it will eventually go into a sleep state, or you can power the unit off. While shutting down will save power, MARCo can still do things for a user while in sleep mode. If you are having a rough day, MARCo can text you to brighten your day or check in on how things are going. If you do not want MARCo to text you or do not plan on using it very frequently, use the button on the robot to first safely turn the unit off. Once it is fully powered down, you can use the shutoff button on the power cable to cut power entirely to the unit. Alternatively, if the power button does not seem to be working, you can safely shut MARCo down by tapping the initialize button on the screen and asking it to shut down. Check out the next video in the series for some best practices and suggestions for working with MARCo.